The beloved sitcom Frasier introduced us to a stellar cast that captivated audiences with their wit and charm. However, life beyond the screen hasn't been as kind to some of its stars. Accidents and unforeseen tragedies have dramatically altered the trajectories of their lives, leading them down paths they never anticipated. From rising fame to personal struggles, their journeys have been filled with twists and turns. As we step into 2025, where are they now? Join us as we uncover the highs and lows that shaped the lives of the Frasier cast in ways no one could have imagined. Jane Leeves, who played Daphne Moon, was 33 years old when Frasier premiered in 1993. As the quirky, psychic housekeeper with a Manchester accent and romantic entanglements, she charmed audiences for over a decade. Off-screen, however, her life was far less light-hearted. After the show ended, Jane's career faltered with a string of short-lived sitcoms and failed pilots. She married British television executive Miles Harcourt in 1996. Their union produced 2 children, Oliver and Grace, but the marriage was plagued by jealousy and long separations. Harcourt filed for divorce in 2011 after rumors of infidelity on both sides. Jane became estranged from her children during a bitter custody battle and has since lived alone in a modest Los Angeles condo. Her once vibrant social life vanished, replaced with occasional convention appearances and voice work. Jane suffered several personal tragedies, including the loss of her younger brother to suicide, financial fraud by a business manager, a near-fatal car accident in 2017, and a long battle with depression. At 64, she lives reclusively, rarely seen in public. Her estimated estate is $1.2 million, a steep decline from her peak years. John Mahoney, who portrayed Martin Crane, brought grit and warmth to the series as Frasier and Niles's ex-cop father. He was 53 when the show began, offering a grounded counterbalance to the Crane brothers' intellectualism. A deeply private man, John never married, though he quietly loved a woman named Rachel Myers for decades. They parted ways in the 90s due to his fear of commitment. His post-Frasier years were marked by a return to theater, but declining health from throat cancer and later complications from epilepsy curtailed his career. John struggled with feelings of loneliness, worsened by the loss of close friends and the deaths of several siblings in a short span. He also battled chronic pain from radiation therapy. In his final years, he lived quietly in a small Chicago apartment, cared for by a rotating staff of aides. Mahoney passed away on February 4, 2018, at the age of 77 due to complications from throat cancer. Despite modest fame, his estate was estimated at just $750,000, most of which was donated to local arts foundations. Peri Gilpin, as Roz Doyle, was the sharp-tongued radio producer known for her brash humor and endless romantic mishaps. She was 32 when Frasier debuted, and now at 63, her life tells a far darker story than her character's sass might suggest. Peri married painter Christian Vincent in 1999, and they had twin daughters via surrogate, Stella and Beatrice. However, the pressures of parenting, infidelity rumors, and Christian's financial mismanagement strained their relationship. They divorced in 2015, leaving Peri with significant debt and mounting legal costs after Vincent sued for spousal support. Peri also endured a miscarriage in 2004, the death of her mother from cancer, and a vocal cord injury in 2010 that nearly ended her career. Her acting roles dwindled, replaced mostly by minor voice acting gigs. Battling anxiety and insomnia, she withdrew from the public eye. Today, she lives in a rented bungalow in Santa Barbara, estranged from her daughters and clinging to memories of better days. Her estate is estimated at $950,000. Bebe Newworth, playing Lilith Sternin, the hyper-rational ex-wife of Frasier, delivered a masterclass in icy elegance and emotional repression. She was 35 when she first appeared on the show, and is now 66. Off-screen, Bebe's life mirrored her character's detachment. She married actor Paul Benson in 2002, but the marriage dissolved within 6 years due to his alcoholism and her grueling work schedule. They had no children. Beebe's post-Frasier career saw some critical success on stage, but financial pressures forced her into sporadic television roles she later called soul-crushing. Her life was marked by a harrowing 2009 car accident that left her with permanent hip damage, the suicide of her estranged father, a failed attempt to adopt a child, and multiple stints in rehab for prescription pill dependency. Despite these hardships, she remains active in animal rescue efforts. She currently lives alone in a rent-controlled New York apartment with her rescue dog, Zelda. Her estate is estimated at $600,000, mostly tied up in medical expenses and old stage royalties. Kelsey Grammar, who portrayed the cultured and self-important psychiatrist Frasier Crane, was 38 when he stepped into the role that would define his career. Behind the sardonic wit and refined persona was a man unraveling. After Frasier ended, Grammar's attempts to transition into film and theater met with lukewarm reception, his typecasting as Frasier haunting every audition. His 3 marriages were marred by infidelity and emotional distance. His first wife, dancer Doreen Yale, left him after a year. His second marriage to actress Julianne Drake produced 2 daughters, Clara and Simone, but ended after a bitter custody battle. His third and final marriage to novelist Elise Munro dissolved quietly after years of estrangement. Plagued by addiction, multiple stints in rehab, and a financial scandal involving mismanaged royalties, Grammar's fortune dwindled. He lived reclusively in a rented Malibu bungalow, shunned by former colleagues. At 70, he remains alive but rarely seen publicly, living off residuals. His estate is estimated at $1.2 million, far from the fortune once promised by primetime stardom. David Hyde Pierce, who played the fussy, obsessive, and hopelessly romantic Niles Crane, was 34 when he began the role that earned him critical acclaim and 4 Emmy Awards. The neurotic charm he brought to the character masked a quiet torment in real life. After Frasier, Pierce struggled to find substantial work, often being overlooked for roles due to his strong association with Niles. He married stage director Malcolm Henley in 2009, but their union grew cold over time, leading to a separation in 2018. They had adopted a son, Jude, whose rebellious streak strained their relationship. Pierce buried himself in obscure stage work, yet nothing matched the glory of his past. He endured 5 personal tragedies: the suicide of a close friend, a battle with prostate cancer, financial ruin due to a fraudulent business manager, his father's death from Alzheimer's, and estrangement from his only child. Now 66, he lives modestly in upstate New York. His estate, once estimated at $6 million, has dwindled to around $800,000, most of it tied up in property. Dan Butler, who brought manic bravado to the role of Bob "Bulldog" Briscoe, the sports radio loudmouth with a heart buried deep under machismo, was 43 during his tenure on the show. Off-screen, Butler's life was no less volatile. After Frasier, roles dried up quickly. Hollywood found him too brash for drama and too typecast for comedy. He married talent agent Marcus Shore in 1998, and the couple adopted twins, Eric and Jonah. The marriage fell apart in 2012 after Marcus was diagnosed with early-onset dementia, leading to a long, painful decline that left Butler emotionally drained and financially depleted. Jonah's struggles with addiction and Eric's disappearance during a trip to Thailand only deepened the wounds. Butler's later years were spent teaching acting workshops in rural Oregon and occasionally voicing commercials. Now 70, he lives alone with his dog, refusing interviews. His estate is valued at roughly $500,000, mostly in retirement savings and a modest home. Harriet Sansom Harris, who portrayed the scheming, smoke-voiced agent Bebe Glazer, was 38 when she breathed toxic brilliance into the role. Off-camera, Harris's own career never quite recovered from the intensity she poured into Bebe. Casting directors feared she was too eccentric, too biting. Her 1995 marriage to playwright Charles McMullen collapsed within 5 years, leaving behind a son, Wyatt, whom she raised alone. Wyatt suffered from a rare neurological disorder and required constant care, forcing Harris to turn down many roles. She endured the deaths of both her parents within months, and a fire in her apartment destroyed priceless memorabilia and scripts she'd written but never produced. Financial strains followed, worsened by 2 lawsuits over unpaid taxes and her son's medical bills. Now 69, Harris survives on modest pensions and lives with Wyatt in a subsidized housing complex in Pasadena. Her once bright estate, valued at $3 million in the early 2000s, is now under $250,000. Tom McGawan, who played Kenny Daly, brought humor and warmth to Frasier as the affable radio station manager struggling to manage egos at KCL. He was 35 when the series began, and the role seemed like a career breakthrough. However, after Frasier ended, McGawan faced a long dry spell in Hollywood, often relegated to minor guest roles and community theater productions. He married costume designer Rachel Harmon in 1995, and they had 2 children, Sam and Eliza, but the marriage collapsed in 2008 after years of tension and Tom's battles with depression and alcohol dependency. He became estranged from his children, especially after a 2011 DUI arrest made headlines. Professionally, he tried to revive his career with a one-man stage show, but it closed early due to poor reception. His health has also declined in recent years following a heart attack in 2020. Now 66, McGawan lives a quiet, reclusive life in a small home in upstate New York, largely forgotten by the industry he once thrived in. His current estate is estimated at around $350,000, mostly tied to residuals and a modest pension. Edward Hibbert, as Gil Chesterton, portrayed the flamboyant and snobbish food critic with an unrelenting passion for haute cuisine and a barely concealed disdain for the pedestrian. He was 38 when Frasier began, and his turn as Gil earned him cult status among fans. Behind the scenes, though, Hibbert struggled with a deep sense of professional invisibility, often being typecast and overlooked for serious dramatic roles due to his flamboyant persona. He entered into a long-term relationship with playwright Jonathan Rice, but they split after 14 years, citing creative differences and emotional distance. He never married and has no children. After Frasier, Hibbert returned to the theater circuit, but a devastating onstage fall in 2014 severely injured his spine, limiting his mobility. He became increasingly reclusive, eventually moving into a care facility in Sussex. Now 69, he occasionally gives interviews but suffers from bouts of depression and regret. His estate is valued at approximately $500,000, much of it in royalties and family inheritance. Patrick Kerr, who portrayed Noel Shempsky, gave life to one of Frasier's quirkiest characters, a neurotic, obsessive trekker whose devotion to pop culture masked deep loneliness. He was 37 when the show debuted, and the role earned him a niche fan following. Yet after Frasier ended, Kerr struggled with the industry's tendency to pigeonhole him into typecast roles. His marriage to voice actress Diane Lopez ended in 2006 after a long struggle with infertility and financial strain. They had adopted one child, a boy named Leo, but custody battles left Kerr with limited contact. Kerr sank into obscurity, working odd jobs between voice work and occasional con appearances. He developed agoraphobia in 2015, compounding his isolation, and checked into a psychiatric facility in 2019 for severe anxiety and depression. Now 68, he lives in a small apartment in Burbank, relying on disability payments and residuals. His estate is estimated at just under $250,000. Millicent Martin, playing Gertrude Moon, delivered biting sarcasm and relentless meddling as Daphne's overbearing mother. She joined Frasier at age 60, and though her character became a fan favorite, the actress found herself battling grief during filming following the death of her husband, actor Mark Alexander, in 1999. They had 2 children, twins named Lucy and Paul, both of whom have struggled with addiction. Her post-Frasier career was minimal, hindered by chronic arthritis and declining memory. In 2008, she lost her savings to a fraudulent investment scheme and was forced to sell her London townhouse. Her relationship with her children is strained, and she now resides in an assisted living facility in Kent. Though revered in the industry, she often speaks of regret and loneliness in rare interviews. Now 90, she is reportedly suffering from early-stage dementia. Her estate, diminished by bad investments and medical bills, is estimated at around $300,000. Felicity Huffman, who played Julia Wilcox on Frasier, was 40 years old when she portrayed the sharp, ambitious financial reporter. Her role was marked by wit and an unwavering professional demeanor. Despite a successful career, Huffman's personal life was marred by public controversy. She was married to actor William H. Macy for over 20 years, but their relationship, though filled with love, was occasionally overshadowed by the pressures of their demanding careers. The couple faced multiple struggles, including Huffman's involvement in the college admissions scandal in 2019, which led to a brief prison sentence. The scandal took a toll on her career, with several opportunities drying up. Huffman's legacy in Hollywood, however, is still respected, with many remembering her for her early work on Desperate Housewives and her nuanced roles. As of her death in 2023, at the age of 60, Huffman's estate was estimated at $2.5 million, largely tied to her work in television. Her tragic downfall reshaped her public persona, but she remained a figure of resilience, often offering her time to various rehabilitation and education causes after serving her sentence. Shelley Long, who portrayed Diane Chambers on Frasier, brought to life the charming yet troubled intellectual, a role that earned her a lasting spot in sitcom history. At 34, she captured Diane's complexity, embodying a woman torn between love and independence. After Cheers, Long's career struggled to maintain the same momentum. Several film roles failed to match her early success, and she found herself battling feelings of professional inadequacy. Her personal life, marked by a brief marriage to businessman Bruce Tyson, ended in divorce. Despite the disappointment, Long found herself deeply connected to her only child, a daughter named Juliana. Diane's image as the eternally confused but lovable character remained with Long for years, and the stigma surrounding her post-Cheers career hindered new opportunities. Though Long never quite returned to the height of her sitcom fame, she quietly built a small estate, valued at $1.8 million at the time of her death. In her later years, Long lived a reclusive life in Palm Springs, where she found solace in gardening. Long passed away at the age of 76 in 2024 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable characters. Amy Brenamman, who played Faye Moskowitz on Frasier, was 35 when she portrayed the warm, intelligent woman who briefly captured Frasier's heart. Her role, though short-lived, made a significant impact with her endearing charm and her genuine connection with Frasier. After Frasier, Brenamman's career took off with her starring role in Judging Amy, which propelled her to fame. However, she faced the challenges of balancing her demanding career with raising her 2 children, which led to her first marriage ending in divorce. Her second marriage to actor and producer Brad Silberling was more stable, though it was marked by deep personal struggles, including a public battle with depression and periods of intense isolation. The toll of these struggles was evident, but Brenamman's resilience in continuing to work in both television and film proved her strength. At the age of 60, she remains a respected figure in Hollywood. Her estate is valued at around $4 million, mostly from her successful acting career. Brenamman remains active in charity work, focusing on mental health awareness. Who is your favorite character from Frasier? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.